This is Our Rough Draft, a podcast, real talk for real relationships.
Welcome to Our Rough Draft, where we share real stories from marriage, work, life, and the adventures along the way. We'll laugh, maybe get real, and hopefully help you spark some new conversations in your own life.
I'm Denise, the wild, emotional one who loves words and big ideas.
And I'm Tim. I'm the practical level one who fixes what she dreams of.
And this is Our Rough Draft, where we share the stories we're still living. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Thanks. Welcome to you too.
Welcome to Our Rough Draft.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So we are going to walk through what's been going on this week and then jump into everything else. So what has been going on this week? What are you up to?
Yard project still. Trying to create a great space for us to sit on the side yard versus the gardens that we had over there before. Set up a fire pit for us as the weather gets cooler.
Why is your chair so much higher than mine?
Because I adjusted it.
I don't know how to adjust mine.
Right hand side down below. Do you want your armrests up higher?
No, but I feel like an adult now. I feel like I'm at the adult table versus the kid table. You've been holding out on me.
I have not been holding out on you. I just adjusted I can't do everything for you.
Fair enough. Well, now I feel like the table's low. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm a little fussy this week.
It's right there in the name of the podcast, Our Rough Draft. And this week is rough.
It is rough. So you've been working on a yard project.
Yes.
What have I been doing?
Teaching,
writing, creating, living with uncertainty, all of those things.
What uncertainty?
Well, I teach a class that could be highly controversial in our current state of affairs. And there's a lot going on with it, around it, because of it. And it isn't controversial.
No.
It is a non-controversial class where we talk about serving the needs of every kid.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. It just needs a different title.
We just gave it a new title.
Well, it needs another new title.
Maybe.
Something like
Teaching all the kids.
Teaching Kids Basic. Something. I don't know.
Right?
Something different.
Not cultural diversity in education.
No. Not at all.
Yeah, it feels controversial. So I've been doing that, but I feel really good about it. I feel really strongly about the content I'm putting together and what I'm creating. I've done my first couple of interviews for my doctoral program, first round. So that's been great. And instead of heading to sports tonight, I am headed to family weekend to welcome families and have snow cones with them because that's kind of fun to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because
What flavor are you going to get?
red
Okay.
or blue, but not red and blue together because that's the other school.
Wrong choice, yeah.
So just red, I think, by myself. Red. I don't know. What is red? Not strawberry. Cherry?
Cherry, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That feels right. Holy moly. What else has been going on this week? Recovering from the Mariners no longer being a World Series contender. We lost in Game 7, which was horribly sad and hard for our family.
By one run.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we're putting that here in prosperity so that we can all be sad together. That was a hard week. It was a hard-fought week. So anyway, I think in all of that, what comes to mind when I was driving to work the other day, thinking about this course, thinking of the support I needed to be doing this course, it made me think about jobs. And it made me think about our very best jobs and our very worst jobs. And so I thought that would be a great topic for today.
Okay.
So that's how we got here.
Love it.
And so we're going to get into that. But the other thing I've been working on this week, because when things are really busy, why not work on your own personal projects? So I got the first draft of our rough drafts conversation cards done.
Wait, so you have a rough draft of our rough draft?
Yeah.
That feels very meta.
Yes. So those are coming. And so I'm so excited. There's 6 different kinds of cards. And one of them is the Just Wondering cards.
Because I always wonder.
You do a lot. And so I'm just wondering right now from one of the cards, if this week had a job title, what would it be?
Like a separate title for each of us? Landscaper.
For sure for you.
But like, I would prefer it to be something more than that because I haven't just been like pruning stuff, landscaping. I've been like yard architect,
Yeah.
yard
Visionary
visionary, maybe.
and manual labor.
And the manual labor and the landscaper. Yeah, all rolled into one. So it needs kind of a more encompassing title.
That's awesome. For me,
You need something all encompassing too.
I know there's been so much this week. I think it is like laptop pilot. That's all I've been doing is being on my laptop.
Wow. Pilot.
I know. My eyes got really tired at one point this week. Had to take a break. Okay. Awesome. Just wondering. So, setting the scene. So, today we're talking about the best jobs and the worst jobs, the ones that shaped us, scared us, or taught us something we didn't even know we needed to learn. Because we spend a lot of time working.
Yep.
And you got to love what you do. So, what's been your best job?
Well, by far, Eddie Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, backstory.
Yes.
So I started at Eddie Bauer in 91, I believe, 91.
No, the minute you turned 18, right?
Yeah.
Which would...
Well, no, I think slightly after.
I still think it was probably 1990.
Yeah. I think you're right. 90. Yeah. Actually, you're right. Sorry. 90.
I think it was October of 1990. Why do I know that? I just do.
I think you're right because I was hired as I was supposed to be seasonal help.
Yeah.
For the Christmas season. That was back when retail hired seasonal help, and then I think maybe they still do. Anyway, stayed there for 13 years until 2003 when I got laid off, but loved every minute of it. I mean, for the most part, there's ups and downs, but so I can't think of just one job there that has been amazing, but by far taught me the most out of any other job. Like, it was formative. I was 18, took on a job. I learned how to do that job. I learned how to do all the other jobs.
Talk through them. What were they? How did you start?
So I started off as the seasonal stock associate. I was working in the stock room, and it was just my job to open boxes, hang stuff up, or take it out to the floor, get rid of the boxes. Like, it was a very simple job, or so I thought. But there was so much more involved. Transfers, shipping, and receiving. Like, there was this whole kind of backstory that I had no idea existed for the most part. And it wasn't my first job. My first job was actually one of my least favorite jobs, but then moved out to the sales floor. So finally got the green apron because I had the tan stock apron and I always wanted the green Eddie Bauer apron. So finally moved out to the sales floor and got the green apron, which was a huge thing for me. Then went into the management training program, which I think was about the same time that I decided not to continue going to college because I was moving into the MT program and wanted to continue that career. So there was a lot going on there. Was an MT, was an assistant manager, moved to the help desk from an assistant manager position, moved from the help desk into training. And that was where I finished my Bauer career.
And it was called Eddie Bauer University.
It was indeed.
Which was amazing. I would also say my most joyful job was working at Eddie Bauer.
Because you met me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
My most formative job, I think, was working at Eddie Bauer. Trajectory there was I was already working in retail and doing the stock thing and kind of the same path as you, but I was with Disney out at Arrowhead Mall, opened that Disney store, and then moved across the hall from Disney to Eddie Bauer, was recruited over to Eddie Bauer by one friend that we still have, Sherry. She recruited me over and met Mitzi at the same time, who she recruited from Miller's Outpost. I know.
Oh, so long
ago. And Mitzi, Sherry, and I worked at the Arrowhead Mall with our store manager, Wayne, and we were like the sisters on Cinderella. Obnoxious. One was liked more than the others. It was not me, Mitzi, but we loved it. We built such a close relationship and did all the things, and were highly, highly successful in doing it, in selling, in everything that you could imagine that was responsible for. And I, um, I remember I created this little marketing thing for the perfume that came out, because we always had a men's scent, and then we came out with a women's scent called Balance. And I created this whole thing that went with it. And our divisional VP, I don't even know what they were called at the time, came and saw it and was so impressed and took it back to the corporate office. And I got an interview up there and went to work as in charge of communications at Eddie Bauer, which was an interesting thing because I was supposed to report to this other woman. And then when I was in my move up to Seattle, she quit. And so then it was just me, which was really interesting. And then I was in retail operations, you were in training. But the reason it was so formative, so we were young and we were learning and we worked really hard. And we talk about this all the time. But it was the humans. I mean, I think about when I tell that story, right? I already mentioned Sherry and Mitzi, but then Bill Young was our district manager who has taught me so much about life and leadership and being a good human. And then his boss was one Calvin Reeder, who may be one of my all-time favorite humans. Just kind, smart, made you better in every conversation. And then the piece de resistance, and parent chief, who I wish I was more like every single day. She was the most put together, honest, hardworking, value-driven human who was married to somebody she really liked and still is.
Yeah.
Just all of the things, but never felt like it was put on. It was all very authentic.
Yeah, I think for me, she was one of those people that I was scared to death of because she was so much smarter than me. And she frequently felt like the smartest person in the room, although she never told you that. And it was not a overt thing. It was just, that's how she showed up. She was just super smart and really, really knowledgeable and good at what she did. And so I think for me, that was I always felt the pressure of, she's really smart. So when I go in and talk to her, I have to be really smart.
Yeah. And every single one of those people who I just mentioned, I know to this day, love me, right? They love me as a human. They love me as a person. They're happy for me. They want to see the best for me.
Yeah, it was, I mean, not in a inappropriate way, but it was so much more than just a work relationship with all those people. It felt very much like a personal relationship, a mentoring relationship. It was, for us as 20-somethings, rising through the company and learning new things along the way, there just kept being these really smart, really authentic, kind people above us.
Right.
Like you moved from this job into this job and, oh, hey, there's another really great person to mentor me and grow my career and help me understand how to do this thing.
Well, and there was this piece where at Eddie Bauer, they wanted everybody to be doing the right job. So I think about when I moved into retail operations, it was at kind of the same time. I don't know if you remember when Betty and Michael switched jobs. Betty was in HR, Michael was in retail operations, and I don't know what those stories were behind the scenes, but the two of them switched because it fit them better.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen in corporations, in businesses where maybe you're struggling in your current role, but let's move you into a role that fits you better.
Yeah.
It was such a good example of how to do it, but I monopolized that a little bit with my people. I know you love your people from Eddie Bauer too. So talk about the role that they played in your formative.
Well, I mean, I think there's two in particular, and you know the names as well as I do, but I think the first one was Michelle, who was my boss's boss when I first came to EBU. Just, again, another one of those people that was incredibly smart, incredibly kind, very a great mentor, like would tell you things that you needed to know, but it never ever felt like criticism. It never felt like,
Like you had messed up.
well, and yeah, and it never felt like development, which
Mm.
is weird. Like it just all of a sudden happened and you just walked out of the room again, a smarter person than when you went in. You knew something different. And then I remember the day that Scott Lachute got the role in EBU because we were at the DM, the district manager conference in Bellevue in this auditorium getting ready for some general session type of thing. And I found out, so I knew, Scott knew, and he was sitting on the aisle. And I walked down the aisle and I kind of patted him on the back and said, "Hey, congratulations." And he gave me that little Scott Lachute kind of half smile and said thanks and all that. But another, amazing human. And that was where I learned that you can be a leader who focuses on the people as much as you focus on the work.
Yeah.
So we would have conversations like, again, going into a meeting with Anne, I'm presenting something. Scott and I would sit down. What are you trying to talk to her about? What do you want her to know? What do you want approval for? What's the purpose of this meeting? Let's talk this through. And does your, one pager, does your deck, does your whatever communicate that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Here's what I plan to say. Okay, cool. And then we would talk afterward. How'd it go?
Yeah.
What'd she say? What'd you say? What'd you take away from it? What could you do differently next time? And it was just this thing. So I learned as a leader that you can do that and be successful in the work and successful in developing somebody, because it had those two purposes of you're communicating the message you want to communicate, you're getting the approval or whatever you need out of this conversation from a work point of view, but then you're also learning how to have those conversations later. And to this day, like another thing that's been going on, obviously, is I'm doing a job search right now. And to this day, on the qualifications, 9 times out of 10 for the roles that I'm looking for, it has this little catchphrase of, must be able to have conversations with executives or executive presence or executive leadership or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit, I had that back when I was, 24 or 25.
Right.
Like,
100%.
I've had that forever.
Because they cared about those things. And I think about that and maybe this will shift the conversation, maybe it won't, but what is coming up when you're saying that for me is there was not a scarcity mindset with any of those people. There was never a competition that we were going to take something from them. It was always about what they could give. And by us being more successful, they were more successful.
Yeah. We just had leaders who were very secure in themselves, not just in their jobs, but secure in terms of who they were, what they brought to the table. And they never had to feel less confident about themselves because they were growing us or developing us.
And I keep going through all the names, and like so many people we're still connected to from that time, because I think the culture was to care about other people and to grow other people and not be in competition with other people.
Yeah.
So you could actually care about other people.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. It was the best place that I've worked.
Yeah. I would go back and do it in a minute.
Yeah. If I could go back to that. And I think it's radically different now.
Sure.
I think that we got so lucky with a moment in time in maybe retail or just in work.
Yeah.
I don't know that you find that in some places anymore.
Yeah. I must have come to Bauer a lot later than you because there were no aprons when I got there.
Dude.
I know, but can we talk about your life and aprons?
Huh.
I know.
That's weird.
Have you added that to your job search? Must work at a place
Must have
where
an apron.
I wear an apron.
That's so weird. I didn't think of that.
I know. I had never heard you talk about it before.
I can't believe we didn't have aprons when you started.
I know.
I don't even know when we got rid of those because you started in
94, 95.
That's weird.
Yeah. 94.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that it's different now. And we were super fortunate. But gosh, I just we got Kelly from that. We got the roadies from that. It's so crazy to me. I'm all the people Susan Collins, Michael Cunningham, right? Heather Dale. I could go through to a person. Wow, what an extraordinary time.
It was. Yeah. I mean, and it was good and it was bad, because to start your work career with that,
Right.
kind of like I did. I mean, again, I was 18. I mean, I didn't know anything. To start that was amazing, but then I think kind of sours you for other things. Like I struggled when I got laid off, not because, I mean, yes, because I got laid off because they closed down the corporate university and went through, some business troubles, but I was worried about, where am I going to find this environment? Because what I did learn out of that as well is I need that.
Yep.
I can't just go do any job. I need a connection to an organization that has values that match mine, that has people that match my values, that has this mission of kind of being better or bigger than just the product that it sold. And I struggled with where I was going to find that. And truthfully, when I went to Starbucks, I felt like I found the mission piece, but the people piece just wasn't the same. And I haven't found it since.
Right. Same. I actually followed Michael Cindric to T-Mobile VoiceStream at the time because I trusted him. And he, I think, trusted me back. And I was able to go there and do that communications job as well. But again, not the people.
Oh.
And it was hard. When I first started at VoiceStream, the people were there. Like when Michael first went, we went over, I think there were 12 of us in marketing at the time. And I love all of those people. But then we got bigger and more money and going public, and right, all of those things play into cultures unbecoming what you wanted them to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've found, as I look back, I think I've probably found one or two people in the time since. So from 2003 till now, 22, almost 23 years later, I think I found, I would say probably a couple of people that I think are that way.
Yeah.
But it was.
Do you think that if we switch to worse jobs, as you think about your worst job, is it the opposite is true? Is it the people part?
Yeah, I think for me, 100%. I think so. My first job when I was 16, I was a stock person at Loman's.
Right, which is Loman's Plaza in
Bellevue
in, what is that little place called?
Newport Hills, or Factoria. Sorry.
Factoria. Newport Plaza. Oh, gosh, I can't even talk. Loman's Plaza, which is still called Loman's Plaza.
Is it?
Yeah, even though Loman's isn't there.
That's
and I don't
weird.
think anybody would know that it was Loman's Plaza, because we would talk about it with the T-Mobile store down there. Oh, yeah, it's someone in Loman's Plaza. And I'm like,
Weird.
People don't even know what Loman's is. But It was a women's dress store.
Yeah, it was like a women's discount clothing store. Yeah. My sister worked there. So I didn't want to, I applied at the Keg.
Oh,
to
right
wash
there,
dishes,
same place.
and Godfather's Pizza, which was also in that same plaza. And then didn't want to do fast food, didn't want to wash dishes. So, applied at Loman's, and they hired me at 16, and I was the stock dude and back. And it was weird because it was a very East Coast retailer. So like you called the store manager Mr. So-and-so. Like,
interesting.
That was a sign of respect, and you had to wear a shirt and tie. And I was 16 years old. I didn't have any shirts and ties. So it was just, there was so much that was weird about it. And then I was just around all these women.
Was that really your worst job?
It was only bad because I didn't like it. Because I wanted to work at Eddie Bauer.
Got it.
Since the day that I saw Eddie Bauer, I wanted to work there, but I couldn't work there because I was 16. So I think I was at Loman's for 2 years. And I think I spent the whole time I was there pining for Eddie Bauer, wanting to go work at Eddie Bauer. So, but it was fine. I mean,
right.
I was great at my job.
Tell me about a real worst job.
When I was a district manager.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to the people on my team were fantastic. I loved them. I loved the people that I worked for and with, but my direct boss made me feel dumb, made me feel, I don't know. I mean, I can't describe the way that I felt in enough detail, other than I remember toward the end of my time as a district manager, I was looking for anything. I was looking for warehouse jobs. I was looking for, could I go work at Home Depot, stocking their shelves? Like, I was literally grasping at straws to figure out how I could get out of that job.
And how you could get away from her.
And how I could get away from her. Yeah, it was really about getting away from her. I was so burned out. And in the intervening time, I deployed once again. So I was gone from that job for a year. And when I came back, I couldn't.
So what was it, right? What was the difference?
It was, so everything that we talked about with all those other leaders, those people who had confidence in themselves, who took every opportunity to develop you, but it didn't feel like, let me sit you down and school you. All of that stuff, it was 180 degrees from that. It was a leader who didn't seem confident in herself, did not approach the work or the people with a sense of humanity or a sense of empathy or compassion. Everybody was scared of her. Everybody, like, she would walk into the stores for a visit. Everybody would be scared that she was coming. Everybody would be worried about what they're, doing wrong, because they were always doing something wrong. It was never, hey, you're doing great things here, and let me recognize that. So she just approached her job as, I need to be punitive about everything. Mm-hmm. So I need to walk into this situation and point out all the things that are wrong, because then people can fix them. Not realizing that what you're doing is destroying people's confidence in themselves and just belittling them. And it was, mentally, it was the worst place that I've ever been in terms of a work role.
Yeah.
So there you go. It was horrible.
So should I talk about my worst job?
Yeah, you should.
Why? The worst job I ever had was being a principal. And it's the only job I ever wanted. I'm going to cry. It was like, it could be the very best job. And it was the worst job. And I think about when you talk about this boss that you had that was so horrible. I imagine that there's teachers from my staff who talk about me like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks my heart because they were unwilling to be in a relationship with me. And I don't think that's true for you and this other human. Like, you were willing to be in a relationship with her. She was just not a good fit for you. Probably not a good fit for her job in the way that we did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually was really good at the principal job. It is a complex job. It's never the same every day. It's about taking care of kids and their families and teachers. But in education, there are so many people who show up every day afraid. And afraid they're not doing it right. Afraid they're going to get it wrong. And then that spills over into their leaders. Whether or not their leaders are seeing that in them or not, I could tell people they were doing a great job and they wouldn't believe me. I would try and be in relationship with them and they would lie or fake it or, it was horrible. I've never seen so many people be so cruel.
Yeah.
Which then made it a really bad job because I just want people to love kids, teach kids, and create environments that are joyful. This last week, I was at an all-day long class. I was being taught. I was the student. I'm the student.
They call that learning.
Okay. I was at school and I was going for a walk with my cohort group and I said, this program is not bringing me joy right now. And they all kind of looked at me like, dude, it's a doctoral program. I don't think it's supposed to bring you joy. But that's where I operate from. I believe that it should. I believe that we should find joy every day. And I believe that I can contribute to that. And working as a principal, I wasn't always in a position to do that. And that was harmful to my soul.
Yeah. So what came out of that? What were the learnings from that worst job? Because we talked about the learnings from the best jobs, right? And all the ways we developed and grew as people. I think we grow and develop in the bad situations as well.
I continue to learn from that about how do I approach people differently when I know there's fear. And how can I come alongside? How can I be a partner? How can I alleviate that fear? How can I maybe not, right? I think back to our trip to Italy and Susie being like, this one's not yours. Like,
Yeah.
you are not this, it is not your job
Yeah.
to make everybody okay. And because she's known me for most of my life, like, that's a pointed comment. Like, I've been doing that a good long time. So to realize that it isn't always mine is a learning that I think I have to keep learning.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Well, can I talk about you for a
Yeah,
second?
please.
I think we've talked about this before, but I think for the benefit of this conversation, and I know you're going to school me on this, but the, fight, flight, freeze, um,
Yeah. And fawn.
fawn. Yeah. The reactions to those types of situations. And you've talked before about how you kind of gravitate or you kind of default to fawn. And I think that you've learned that you can't fawn your way out of a bad situation, which I think is really important.
It is really important.
Because not just in a work relationship, but in any relationship. And we've talked about that as well. Like, you can't just fawn and expect things to get better. So that might be your natural reaction, and that's fine. But I think you've learned now that it's just not going to work. Like, there's some people where you can't make this relationship better. And I think that you saw that in the principal jobs. And I really am happy that you've taken that away from those things, because it hurt my soul to see you trying as hard as you did in those situations, but knowing that you weren't going to be successful, but not because of you, just because of the situation. Like,
Which is also partially me, but like, it also doesn't define me.
right.
Victoria Bigelow will say, you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't.
No.
Like, you really don't. And for the longest time, I thought I had to, which then, like, turn the corner gets me to the work I'm doing now and the research I'm doing now around how do we work better in teams, and that the job inherently is set up to fail. Because you put one person in charge over a building where you have so many complicated things going on, it should be a team leadership position, I think 100% of the time.
For sure.
Like, there's no reason one person should take that on.
No. Well, I mean, think about a retail environment, right? You've got a general manager, you've got department managers, you have people that focus on different things. I mean, you've divvied up the work in ways that make sense and support the work, but also support the people.
Right. And that's how we learned it.
Right.
Right. And we learned it in a way that when I ask you to step up, I'm not like getting rid of my work because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm actually including you in the leadership.
Right.
And I'm supporting you at the same time so that you can be good at it.
Yeah.
We don't do that very well in education, and yet we should and we can. And I'm gonna. So.
High five again.
Awesome. Okay, we keep talking about the same thing, which is good. Look at us take focus on a topic today, because it's a topic we really care about. And I think I would love to find to give what we got at Bauer as a part of what we do. I think we both love mentoring people. We love coaching people. I love the retail space. I love learning, like all those things that we did then. It would be cool to create something that did all of those things.
It would be cool to create that. And I think that's, it's interesting because I just had an interview yesterday for a job. But one of the things I talked about was the through line in my career has always been being able to be connected to the people who are connected to the customers in some form or fashion. I love that part of it, because I might not be the best customer service person. I think I'm pretty good, but to toot my own horn, I think I'm great at being able to coach others to be that kind of person. And I think that that's been my learning over the course of my career. Is what I wanted to take away from Bauer was not something super tactical. It was the way that people made me feel, the way that they developed me, and the way that they coached me to be better. So my leadership style in any job that I've had has fallen back on those people and their style, because it just felt really supportive of people. It felt like the right thing to do for the person. And what I believed was if you did that for the person, the work would come. If I can support you as a person, I'm supporting you as an employee as well.
Right. And I think, right, that talks to why my principal job wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't always coach. People weren't coachable or they weren't mine to coach. But I think it also goes to your worst thing because we've also always been able to coach up and ask for what we needed from our leaders. And so when we are put in situations where we can't do that,
Yeah.
right? I think back to the conversation I had with my superintendent, and she said, "Is that the plan, Denise?" And when anybody uses my name, like, we know that sets me off. And I said, "Yep, that's the hope." And she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Hope is not a plan." And I think about that all the time. And hope has to be a part of the plan for me. Hope is always a part of the plan because if we are doing things that are hopeful, then our plans are headed in the right direction. If it's not hopeful, then I think it's dumb.
But also have some trust in me as an adult and as a professional to know that that's not my only strategy.
Right.
Like, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I just went
You
through an
hope?
8-part plan with you.
Does that mean you're just sitting back and like lighting candles and hoping? Does that mean like, no, dumbass, I've literally got an entire strategy here and I
Right.
have this all laid out. And I'm hopeful as well that people are going to come along with me.
And I'm going to light candles and I'm going to take mindful moments and I'm going to do the things that make me and others feel good while we're doing it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with lighting candles, especially if they smell good.
Well, maybe. That's
Maybe.
true. Maybe that's true. Okay.
Anyway, where are we?
Well,
What are we talking about?
we have to be done because I have to go to another event.
Yes, you have to eat snow cones.
So we missed a lot of stuff that we normally talk about. So let's just do our just wondering thing.
I wonder.
If you could do any job for just one day, what would it be?
Construction.
Interesting.
I'd want to build a house.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You know, that's available to you.
I know.
Okay.
And fighter pilot.
Okay, that would be fun too. I wouldn't want to do anything for just one day. I just the thing I have in my head that I want to do, like if there were, I'm going to change the question for myself.
Of course.
If there was one job that I could like magically make mine and it would be my job from here on out, I would want to work on Dr. Crow's team at that level and be in the work. Even if it means I have to work 1 million more hours and leave my house every day, I really think I would want to do that. Maybe I take it back.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. It's out there in the ether right now, out in the universe. So it might come your way and you might regret saying you wanted to leave the house every day.
I just want to bring my passion for the work to a higher level.
And if I can toot my own horn and say, I told you so, I've told you that, I think, since the very beginning when you got into education.
I know.
Like, that's the level you need to be at. You need to be at such a high level that you can actually impact the things that are happening, not just impact students. That's fine.
Right.
Yes, great. But impacting the very fabric of education.
Yes, that's what I want to do. So maybe the first step is to finish my doctoral program.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah. Thanks, honey. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here today. We do want to hear your stories. So if you have stories about good work, bad work, in between work, please, please, please send us that information. We would love to talk more about this. Obviously, it is something that we have a lot of passion for.
Yeah, because it's such a big part of who you are and what you do. I mean, the things that define you are a lot of things, but one of those big things is where do you spend 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week or whatever number of hours you work? That's a defining characteristic. So it's important that you do the right thing and that you like it.
Yeah, and that you can have, that's your legacy, right? Like, I think that's the piece. Like, you don't have to create a legacy if you're living your legacy every day and putting good into the world.
Yeah.
So anyway, drop us your ideas in the comments. Like this and share it with your friends. We are on a little mission right now. I don't know what episode this is. 13? 12? I don't know. 10% of podcasts only make it to 10 episodes. Only 1% of podcasts make it to 21 episodes. So we are going to make it to
challenge accepted.
I know we're going to make it to 21 and then take a couple week break. So that is what is in the works. Please help us to keep sharing our big ideas out into the world. And if you have ideas for future episodes, send them our way too.
Yeah. And thanks for coming along on our rough draft. We appreciate you.
Thank you.